ideas and things I wanna discuss, but I'm not feeling organized and well today, so I think also that I'm not ready with those ideas. I think I need to dig more
Okay.
because I found some answers and some causes and effects, but most of them are kind of superficial, and this is not the direction of our study.
Okay. If you feel like you want to share, um, we are here to listen.
Yeah, so wait a second. Here we go. Is it working? Yeah,
Yes.
I guess.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So for today, I'm gonna talk about basically how to write and classify our research because we know that are kind of, I don't know, most kind of studies. I mean, every study has a direction and its purpose, and ours will be an observational one because we don't kind of have like a proper experiment or something like that. So, observational research consists of systematic observation. Systematic involves a rational and reproducible procedure for collecting data. Data can be collected using a video recording device or a questionnaire. So there is no experiment. In the data collection phase, the researcher does not try to change the environment. The data is analyzed, and the researchers are looking for interesting or important patterns. For this, different methods can be used, such as observational, correlational, or experimental method. The goal is to create explanatory patterns in which cause and effect sequences can be observed, although they do not have to be linear. So, surveys are forms of observational research in which data are collected from a large number of subjects. An investigation can be about anything. Opinions or assessments are usually required in a survey. Both aim to determine the characteristic of a larger population using a relatively small sample. For example, you might ask a sample of people who work in one place to find out their attitudes toward mental health. So, for our study, the characteristics are according to the level of depth in the object of study, ours is explanatory. This means it's one of the most common types of research and is focused on science. It's the type of investigation that is used to try to determine the causes and consequences of a specific phenomenon. It seeks not only what, but also things and how they came to state in question. Depending on the type of data used, ours is qualitative. Qualitative research is understood to be one that is based on obtaining in principle non quantifiable data based on observation. This is what we are doing. Although it provides a lot of information, the data obtained are subjective and uncontrollable. and do not allow a clear explanation of the phenomena. Focuses on descriptive aspects. From the type of research according to its objective, ours is applied research because it's a type of research focused on finding mechanisms or strategies to achieve a specific goal, such as achieving a goal. Therefore, the type of field to which it applies is very specific and well defined, as it's not about explaining a variety of situations, but rather an attempt to address a specific problem. However, the data obtained from this investigation can be operationalized a posteriori in order to be analyzed, making the explanation of the phenomenon studied more complete. By the degree of manipulation of the variables. It's not experimental. This type of research is fundamentally based on observation. In it, the various variables that are part of a particular situation or event are not controlled. By the type of inference, this is another type of classification can be extracted from the method used to deduce how reality works. For our study, we are using inductive method. This investigation carried out according to the inductive method is based on the conclusion of the fact. Observation and analysis allow to draw more or less true conclusions, but do now allow generalizations or predictions. Based the sixth characteristic, depending on the time period in which it's performed, ours it's transverse. These types of research focus on comparing certain characteristics or situations to different subjects at a specific time, with all subjects sharing the same temporality. So from here, we are going to work. That's all.
That's very nice. It's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I
And
think
sorry because I'm very tired and it's like I forgot how to speak. And I'm really sorry for this.
no, it was great. I think it gives us idea of like the direction that we're taking in this study. So yeah, it was really good. It was really good the way that we structure it. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I posted on Gravity Text working group. Yeah, I posted there.
In a working group?
Yeah, in the working groups
Oh,
text
okay.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome.
Yeah, um I ask for access to it.
Okay, wait. Let me eliminate this.
Yeah, so we are um now we are in a phase in the research where we are preparing the survey, or at least start building the survey. Um to have a better idea of the structure and what questions we want to we want to ask. And we have we based on the Tao Health from Talentow. But what we are trying to do, it's different because in the Dow Health survey, they're focusing more on how the Dow is itself and how the individual behaves in a Dow. And we are trying more to understand um, about the mental health of the people in the DAO and not the DAO itself. So this is the main difference, I would say, from what we are trying to do here and what was done before. Um, and me and Anna, we are working on it. We are basically like the group. They are like in front of the project. I'm just trying to give you all like an overview of um where we are right now with the research. Do you guys have any questions?
Or do you have any recommendations or any idea how to approach this research? We are very open, so.
Yeah. Hi, Durgadas. Welcome.
Hello.
I
Mhm.
have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What
Go.
is the survey about?
So we have three main goals. So we want, so the first one, it's what does our community know about mental health? The second is what are the needs of our community about mental health? And the third, it's how our community will accept help from psychologists. And then in the survey, um, we will create questions um, about like burnout, sleep deprivation, work hours, personal time, anxiety, stress, um, like stigma about therapy. And from that, we want to understand where the community is coming from, so we understand better the needs of our community, so we can so we have an idea of creating a tool and creating like working groups um, to bring psychologists to the space.
I think that's great, actually. Congrats.
Thank you.
I feel like people experience a mental illness at one point of their lives, and maybe they don't even realize it. Since it's one of the most common disabilities. And I think it's highly important to have a good mental health since it can affect our daily lives, the way we think, act, work, socialize, like every aspect. And if we have the knowledge on this subject, the platform, the community, and a voice to speak, well, why not help others?
Yeah,
Yes, I like that idea.
thank you. Yeah, we believe on that. um that like sometimes we need to talk about it so people feel welcome to talk about it. So we need a starting point. And there were surveys before around
Yeah,
conflict.
Torkadas, you can talk. You can talk. Sorry,
Um,
Bianca.
oh, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
I was gonna say that there were made surveys before we started surveys around conflict management and community on TEC, and we saw some of that data, and they talk about how they also think that they need support from psychologists and bring mental models, other kinds of mental models to help the community and the relationship in the community and facilitators and things like that. So I think that's a good start to have like those previous datas that was made before, so we know that's we're not like coming from nowhere with this idea. We know that's something um that we need to talk about. Yeah. Okay. Durgadas, you can go.
Oh, I was just going to say it's my approach to this up to this point has not necessarily been to include psychologists as much as it is to try to include psychology at every level of thinking and decision making. So transparency. What is it about transparency as a group that fulfills a certain kind of psychological need, right? In terms of gravity, I think soft gov is another sort of thing. If you look at what they're talking about around some of the initiatives in there, same thing with Omega. You guys probably should talk to Gideon, who's starting the sort of onboarding for people, coming out of the Communitas, um, group, and he's, so it seems to me that not just the I don't want to offend anybody, but the presence of psychologists is not like a panacea. It's there's no magic bullet there. It's just if you include psychology at every level, I think you guys have seen the graphics that I've made. Those are very psychologically informed in terms of their process. So I almost feel like we need to just almost like infiltrate to having sound psychological thinking involved at every level of the DAO, as opposed to just having some kind of psychologists are here and this is a magic bullet. I feel like a lot of times we talk about things in this kind of way rather than to say we need sound psychological thinking at all the different levels of the organization. And so what I'm suggesting is that in terms of the survey, we could, maybe survey people to say, to ask them questions about, well, okay, how does Omega, thinking in terms of, how does Omega fulfill a need, or I don't know. But my point is that maybe to sort of talk about and identify groups, the how well we're doing to serve the basic psychological and mental health needs of people in different groups, because we could be like, well, comms just doesn't care about that, or you know or whatever. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm just saying that you know um, that might be an avenue that we can pursue in terms of asking the question. So it's my perspective. There's certain groups within TEC and the Web3 space generally that I think about that, sometimes more and sometimes less. Um, so you'll see people, oh, okay, I thought I was just making a technology here. I didn't know that I had to think about even bother with the humans involved. Do you know what I mean? There are humans involved, but we really don't care about them that much. So why bother with even creating a conflict management culture, much less, So it just seems to me that people's own humanity is really far from their own thinking, unfortunately. And so if you're talking about a survey, it might be helpful to try to survey, which working groups are more focused on that than others.
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on it. Thank you.
If I can also share some points, like I think you're doing an amazing job. I don't know if you're aware, like on there's a proposal going on Aragon from RNDAO, which are also leveraging the Talentow survey, but they want to create a tool that is able to live track the health of the DAO, which is what you were talking before, like more related to the relationship between the individual and the DAO. I was about before I joined the meeting, I was about to write a reply saying that individual health was also like, as you said, something that the DAO should take care of. And just to let you know, in Aragon, you are also coming to the umbrella meeting group when I also collaborate, and we're trying like to implement the values on the Argo Manifesto into practices, and we are also we're also discussing a proposal to create some sharing group, like where there's a facilitator. It's not directly involved in psychology. It's more something like coaching related because that's our background. And the point is to create trust and sharing culture. But this just to say that you're doing something that I believe is really needed. So great job.
Thank you. That's interesting. So it's that that's a call that happens in Aragon?
Pardon, a call?
Oh, that you're talking about it's a call?
I don't understand what you mean with a call. Sorry.
So
If you would rephrase, yeah, sorry.
um no, I understood that it was gonna happen in a call.
Yeah, like no, there's a proposal going on for the to implement the survey also, and that's on the forum. But the cause that you're also joining of the umbrella team.
Oh,
Tomorrow we're gonna discuss about these groups that we want to start.
okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, let you know that we're doing something similar, but it's not the same.
Yeah. I was in the umbrella call last week too. Um and I don't know if there is gonna happen the one today.
Uh,
For the
Tomorrow.
but there is one happening for the US time.
Oh yes, but I don't think the important one is tomorrow.
Yeah, the important is tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for sharing it.
Oh,
Um yeah, if anybody yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. I saw the survey when Juan Carlos shared it some days ago, and it's really good. And you mentioned that y- you were working on it. So, did you create a document to add things or to change things about the survey, or how are you working on it?
Yeah, I can share with you.
Because I thought that in these calls we were going to like work. So I don't know if we see the survey, can we make comments or are we not invited in that part? It's not clear for me that specific.
Yeah. So we started a couple months ago. And yeah, we basically like in these calls, we want to like brainstorm our ideas and also bring what we were working on during the week. So Anna, she was working on some articles. And I shared the link. She posted some articles in the link that I shared. And I was going through the survey and trying to organize the steps that we were going through. So the Talentow survey is the Dow Health survey, and they work in three layers. I mean, not that they work, but they are curious about three layers. That's the organizational, team, and individual. That's the three layers that they analyze in their survey. So what we are trying to do here is not so much about the DAO. It's more about the individual itself. So it's like the individual mental health and how they see themselves in this workspace. So the Talentow did the survey about the DAO, and we want to understand how the individuals see themselves in a DAO and how much they know about mental health and how can we help them with their mental illness. And from the survey, we want to understand more about their knowledge around mental health and if they see if there is an illness. Because sometimes, like we can talk about mental health, but we don't see ourselves as someone that can be ill. So we want to understand more from our community, and that's why we want to create the survey. And then we were thinking about creating questions, and that's when the articles about psychology comes in to have the psychometrics about anxiety, about depression, about burnout. So we can create good questions around those topics. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you for your kind clarification, Bianca. And what I wanted to know is if we can comment or
Yeah, sure.
to the document.
Yeah, please. It's open
Okay.
for, yeah, it's open for everybody that wants to contribute. We will be very, very happy to your contribution to it.
Thank you, Bianca.
Yeah, thank you.
Another question: how are you dealing with privacy while with the survey? Because that's another key point.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking about that because Talentow, from what I understood, they were based on Ocean Protocol. So, but I didn't understand if they did like smart contracts. Um, or I didn't understand that part. They did like a partnership with Ocean Protocol. Um, and I was thinking about that. If we ask like just for like they did, so what they did is just getting like numbers, and at the end you calculate your number and you send to them. But I don't think that's interesting for us because we also want to analyze the question. So we want to have like the data of like what question have more like agree or disagree. So maybe what we'll do is ask for the wallet, or I don't know. That is a good question, and I was thinking about it. How could we do it um to like whoever we share that information, even if it's just me and Anna analyzing it, we secure that the personal private answer it's not going anywhere. I'm open for suggestions.
Was just a question, like it's not my field of expertise, privacy, but I know that with personal data and with this type of personal data, it's gonna be very important how you treat it. But unfortunately, can't be of help. This.
Yeah. What we do usually in psychology research is we secure the individuals participating is that we are not going to share any of their information. And then it's like they will have to trust us that we're not going to share it. And then we'll have to compromise that we're not going to share it. But that's like in, academic level. That's how science usually does. But talking about web space, I don't know how would be the best approach to it. The way that Gravity did before, they took the wallet number. So it was like the signature. But even then, like I can take the wallet number and search for it. But that's like, it's not ethical to do it. I wouldn't do it, but if somehow this data goes somewhere else, I don't know if people could use this. I don't think
Yeah, yeah.
no one would use it.
Well, I mean, that's not enough, if you know what I mean. Like, so because it's blockchain, every single thing that you've ever done is transparent, right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah. So it is an interesting question in terms of how to address that, because blockchain contains some identity components, as well. So if I've got a POAP, uh, on that same address, I mean, you could technically say, please use a different address for this, if you want to be, um, made anonymous,
Yeah. Or we can just only not ask for identity at all, but then I don't know how good will be our data, because then someone can sabotage us. And other point, it's that I was thinking about talking to Talentow, because what they also do is they do a lot around research, and I want to connect with them to talk about our project and what we're trying to do, and tell them that we got the Dow Health Survey as a model, and maybe we can connect and have their help, and maybe they can help us with that point as well.
I will also share with you the link to the proposal that's been made on the Aragon forum, so you might want also to contact the RNDAO to talk about maybe share ideas and maybe get some suggestion on privacy.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
where is it? This is it.
I will say I was once in a discussion in SoftGov about with YGG Anderson, who was talking about trying to come up with some way to measure health using a variety of things from Discord and from forums and so on. So he seemed to have a technological sort of look at that. So you might want to coordinate with him as well to see if they ever went down that road a little bit. It was between Livy and YGG at one point.
YGG. Okay. They're doing a health measurement.
Yep, on real time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they actually
They're
did it
they're
or what,
building
but I just
something very
remember a
complex.
conversation once, yeah, about that. So maybe they've carried forward with it, but
That's cool. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anna, do you have, I don't know if I went to all the topics. Do you have something else to say?
For now, no.
sorry guys, I gotta go. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, and also, Angie Berry had the idea of creating a mental health space to create a talk on TEC with Talk Engineer Academy. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, I had this idea of creating an event like maybe once a month about mental health. on behalf of Token Engineering Commons, maybe even Token Engineering Academy, or even Gravity. And the purpose of this event is to help those who are experiencing mental health problems, or even teach them more about this topic, since a lot of people really don't know much about it. And we can offer so much through this event. We can educate people about it, teach them how to take care of their mind, how to ask for help, or even know when someone needs help. And we can provide resources, and most importantly, create an open and safe space for the community and let them know they're not alone. And yes, I think it'd be a really fun and great idea to create this.
I think it's great, but you should have a follow-up, like a service provided by Gravity, where people can actually find, like, not only like talk once a month, but if they realize that they need help, they should have a place inside TEC. That would be amazing. And Gravity could provide a service where they could actually speak with psychologists.
Yes, that'd be great. And if anyone here wants to help to bring this event to life, it'd be really awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can help. I
I
can
would love to
also.
help you. Sorry.
Awesome. Yay.
I'm also happy to share some ideas with Anna and Bianca, like with about the survey they want to create.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
Sure, sure, please.
Please do. Feel
okay, I
free
will.
to go to the document if you want.
I will.
Thank you. We
And
appreciate it a lot.
thank you. I think you're doing something that is really needed, because there are a lot of risk factors involved in working online in general in Web3, related to mental health. Like burnout is the first one, but like as you said, not getting enough sleep because you're exposed to a lot of blue light, and sedentarity, is that a word in English, or the fact that you are related with, we already spoke about this, with people only through a screen. You're not creating real uh, relationship, let's say. These are, I think, all risk factors. Could be alienating, as I said, but so what you're doing is really, really, and it's gonna become something that you will be able to share out of TC, because most of the DAOs, and as Durdegas pointed out, are not aware of the fact that humans are in relation with humans. They're just there for, I don't know, the tech. And so what you're doing is going to be very appreciated.
Thank you. It's very nice to have this support. Thank you for doing it. Yeah, we want to bring that. Let me share my screen with you. So this is the gravity data for the conflict manager survey that we had. Can you see it?
Yep.
So in this section, here it was talking about what other mental models, techniques, relationships do you wish your community had? So it was like some interesting questions. Oh, answers. Like share purpose, governance, and human meetings, space and moments. So like, and the way that they put humans like in, in this tact like that. Um, conflict mediation, training facilitations. So they put their needs of the group first. And this was like a survey for conflict mediation, so that's where it goes. But we see some of the needs that we can also understand some of the community needs from this. Moderators trained in psychology, therapy, or outside resource for emotional distress caused at work, form and shift procedures to stop harassment women in the organization. And also like privacy protection for people involved in conflict. More NVC. This is something that Gravity is trying to do. And we can like analyze it. More social non-work interaction.
Yep.
I wish we had a collaborative creation of resource for developing emotional intelligence, personal growth, and mental hygiene. So this is something like some things that comes up to our knowledge to see that like, okay, like what we're trying to do here is something that does have a meaning. It's not something from like nowhere. And we can see that like we don't talk about it openly, but like between the lines, we can see that we need help and we need to be heard about our feelings. Yeah, more programs like Gravity that attend problems in a human level and not technical. And like um um so like they were feeling uncomfortable, they're feeling overwhelmed. And yeah. Yeah, this is just like an idea. To like
It's very
okay, like yeah, to like
helpful.
yeah, it makes sense what we are trying to do.
Yeah, and I like the fact I'm not a big fan of question surveys with closed ended questions. So I like the fact that you use open ended. It's a lot more work, but the results going to be way richer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You will
think
have to analyze a lot of more things. It's going to take way more time because if you have closed ended question, it's pretty easy to count. You just have like numbers to sum up and divide. Here you need to copy every single answer and try to find patterns, and but it's gonna be, as I said, richer. So good job.
true. Yeah. I hope it makes sense, and I hope like it brings the same energy for you that's in me and Anna. um and yeah, I agree on what Durgadas was saying, that there is some psychology in the other groups, but at the same time, we see that it is important to have this separate space to talk about it.
I have a question. Are you able to hear me,
Yes.
Little.
Ruby? Um, I'm curious if it's possible for us to have like a thread where we can drop resources that have been useful around mental health, like any techniques or models or practices or principles that we organize, sort of those things. Um, if there's like a desire for that, I'm building a resource collection of sorts, kind of like when you like choose your own adventure. Like if you've got feelings, you open this thing, and then there's like tons of resources, be it like how to ask for help or how to do X, Y, and Z or whatever. I want to like have all these things in a certain place. I'm wondering if people wanted to throw down and add to that. Yeah.
You're cracking a little bit, but I think you're talking about creating a thread to drop resources, or like where we can put information.
Yeah, basically anybody who's ever been touched by some sort of modality, collecting all of the different tools and practices and rituals that we've been exposed to or used in one place seems helpful.
So like
Like a bookshelf. Like every good book you've ever read on X, Y, and Z is all in one place, but it's not just books,
mhm.
it's images and techniques and processes.
So like an open conversation about your personal experience.
Mm, no, I'm thinking more like if your goddess has an image that helps him unpack something in a profound way, he drops it in the thread, or if somebody else knows of a ritual or something that is very helpful in a certain situation, it's like a place to compile all of the resources and tools and like social hacks that we know.
Yeah, we can create a thread on gravity, but we also have this the psychology document, the implementing psychology in Web 3. It's a doc on Google. I don't know if that helps, but we can create a thread on Gravity channel. Which one you feel more comfortable with?
I don't know if you want a bunch of resources listed out on whatever you're doing, but I was thinking a place to compile all those in one spot might be nice.
Okay. I think the threads just go for 24 hours. Is that right?
They can go up to a week, I think, depending on what tier individual people are at. At the like, I think I can go back behind threads and make them a week long and need any one that I want.
Yeah. What do you think, everybody?
Well, I like the idea of resources space where people can go to and check if something they like, because sometimes we go with people for help and sometimes we want to look at it by our own.
Mm-hmm.
But in a thread, I think it's the least accessible, and in the document it gets lost. Maybe we can start to think about I don't know, a Notion page or something.
I like the Notion
I
idea.
have I have a Miro board that I've been working with. I think Livia is probably the only person who's seen it so far because I haven't had time to meet people. But it's got a whole bunch of categories like self-reflection, holding space, asking for help. It's got a ton of categories, and each of that is sort of like where all these things are getting put in broken in so that people can look at a glance and then go to the section and find resources. I'm just saying, like, I want to compile them all neatly, but I need some place for people to dump them so I can find them, as opposed to me going through all the different documents we're creating and going and pulling them out places or whatever. I'm really good at archiving as we go.
Also, I think Omega does something like that with the library.
You guys just have a section in there. I'm not sure how they're doing it or how much access you have or want to use that, but yeah.